What is going on? Alex Booker here. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for jumping on this masterclass session that covers how to break into tech. I think it's mission critical that you watch through this entire video so that you can set proper expectations and understand really what you might be getting yourself into when it comes to thinking about a potential career in the tech industry. We'll also showcase why the Suited for Success program was ever created and where we might be able to help. You can think of this masterclass as a very high-level overview of everything that our program includes. Now, before we dive right into things, I'll give you a brief overview of a few topics that we'll be covering today. First, we'll identify where you're at right now and what would make you a great candidate in the tech industry. We'll share a couple of roles that many people who have zero experience in tech could land and how you can reshape your current experience to fit those roles. I'll then talk about some roles that do involve some additional training and where to get that training before jumping into our program. Next, I'll walk through the perfect resume format and some specific kicking off your job hunt in this industry. Lastly, we'll talk through some results and, of course, the advantages of working in tech. I'll share what life might look like in your future role, even without any experience. After covering all of this in our masterclass, you'll have a good idea of the process and how to land that dream role in tech. So let's jump right into our first topic that I want to cover today: who is right for the tech industry? So let's start here. I am always curious and want to take a moment to really think about why you might be checking out this masterclass in the first place. Think about not only your current career goals, but also what the dream life might look like to you. I hear three common themes from folks when they tell me about their goals or their why for jumping on board with this program. Number one is they want to make more money. They know that they're more valuable and they usually work their ass off for very low pay. The people we typically work with usually work in industries where they've hit an earnings ceiling or they see very little or almost no upward trajectory when it comes to making more money. Take Elise, for example. Her story is arguably my favorite client story and client case study because her story showcases that it really doesn't matter where you're starting from. So Elise came from working as a shift manager, slinging chicken for Bojangles in the east side of Atlanta, Georgia. Needless to say, this is her first job in tech. Within 6 weeks of our work together, she landed 12 later stage interviews with hiring teams, signed an offer letter to work for Gusto, and tripled her income, ultimately moving her family out of the ATL straight to Denver, Colorado. Elise quickly became a top performer and was rewarded with not only greater compensation, but also was able to shift out of her original position or her team. But now she manages a team of her own at her new company. The point is, Elise worked her ass off for merely 8 weeks and was able to change her life completely. All it takes is that first position and that first shot. Okay, so positive results aside, let's get down to business on some roles that might be able to get you that kickstart in tech. When I have candidates that have ever worked in the service industry, they worked in retail, they're go-getters, they want to make a lot of money, they don't mind working with people, or at least they could spare a year of their life working with people again, and they have great time management skills. I will 9 times out of 10 recommend these folks to get into tech sales. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sales is not the most sexy position out there unless you're Jordan Belfort. But although it is not the sexiest position, it is undoubtedly the most lucrative role in all of tech on average and the easiest access point into the entire industry. The majority of folks with zero technical experience before they started working in tech started in sales. A sales development or a business development role is one of the easiest to get off the bat if you know how to sell yourself, of course. And it is the easiest position to spark long-term success inside a company after you learn the groundwork. Becoming a sales representative in tech does not require any technical skills whatsoever, and also typically does not require a higher education degree. You need to be willing to learn, you need to be self-motivated, and you need to have an acute attention to detail. Prior to starting as a salesperson in tech, you don't even need to have prior selling experience. Because guess what? We can translate just about anything in life to the ability to sell. When you're convincing your partner to go to a restaurant that you ideally would like to go to versus the restaurant that they would like to pick, that's selling. When you are trying to land an interview at your dream job, that is selling. You are selling yourself to a company. You are offering your services and telling the company it would be a mistake not to take you. That is selling. So now I understand that some of you are extremely put off by my suggestion of sales as your first role to get into the industry. So here is a brief overview of some of the other non-technical roles within a tech company that our program has helped folks land. Product marketing, social media marketing, general marketing managers, project management, UX UI design, human resources, recruitment, talent sourcing, operations within any department, IT operations, revenue operations, HR operations, procurement operations, legal operations, and so on. Finance or procurement positions, customer success, customer support, and account management, or enablement and onboarding. Those are great for my teachers out there. Think about your prior work experience and where you might be able to relate some of these jobs that you've held within a tech company's doors. Start to understand your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to what you would want to do for your full-time role. Now, I know that some of you might have thought that working in the tech industry was strictly for folks that were technical. If you have a knack for learning the technical side of the house, there are plenty of lucrative opportunities out there for you, but they will require some prior experience or training. For example, roles in cybersecurity, product development, engineering, systems, or general IT will require some coding or technical bootcamp experience. Good news for you is that there are plenty of free resources available if you'd like to head down that path. Learning how to do a certain skill is one thing, but learning how to get placed in a is completely different. I want to mention that a good majority of the people that work in technical roles oftentimes get their foot in the door in a non-technical role, which allows their company to reimburse them for the training required for some of these more technical positions. Just some food for thought there. The point here is, after you land this first role, the keys to the castle are all yours. From this first starting point, this should serve as a foot in the door, and you should be able to network enough where your next position will be much easier for you to land, even if it's in a different department. We've noticed that fitting your current work experience into the right role and the right company for you is critical to your success and longevity when getting started in the tech industry. That's why this is pillar number 1 of our program that helps marginalized groups of humans break into tech. Okay, now that you've got a good idea for what positions that you could land in tech, we're going to go ahead and quickly cover how to position yourself for the role via your resume. Resumes are a paper copy of your current and prior work experience. We notice a few common mistakes that folks made when submitting a resume that causes them to land or not to land their dream jobs. Getting right after it, mistake number 1, and I make this number 1 because it stands out like a sore thumb when done incorrectly and is a pain for recruiters, causing automatic disqualifications or automatically tossing out your resume. The mistake is a lack of proper formatting. I'll be giving away a complimentary resume template after this masterclass that you can feel free to use or you can pull ideas from, but we're also going to be walking through that resume template in a moment here so you can see a visual. Mistake number 2 is overloading the reader with information that is vague and unnecessary. So employers oftentimes have an AI software that will search for keywords on your resume, or they'll have recruiters even skim your resume for just a few seconds. The top of your resume is prime real estate. Use it wisely. Mistake number 3 is not having enough tech-related bullet points. As I mentioned previously, you do not need to be technical to land a role in the tech industry, but you need to understand the environment that tech companies do exist in. Prioritize transferable skills and showcase your ability to hit the ground running by understanding where you're at today and translating it into how you're going to drive impact in your future role. Mistake number 4 is not having a focal point or not tailoring your experience to fit the role that you ideally want to land. We've seen countless resumes that data dump all of their experiences, any last experience that they have. But unless you can tie it back to the position that you want, the experience will be seen as irrelevant to the role that you're applying for. Mistake number 5, and our last mistake here that we see most often, is going to be being too generic. You want to customize as much as possible, of course, but you also want to make sure to use as many data points as possible. Get to the point where you can tell a reader how strong you were at your position, how much work did you do, and how well you stacked up against your other colleagues. Use smart bullet points to showcase your success. When looking directly at this resume template, and I'm going to show you an example in a second here, we are thinking about the 5 most common resume mistakes. There are a few things that stand out to me right away. So number 1 is the formatting. So I'm going to go through this really quick and just give you a brief overview. Again, you're going to get a copy of this resume template, so feel free to take notes now or go ahead and just wait to download later. But this is a resume template that you can go ahead and use. I want to show you an applicable example of somebody's resume that I actually started to critique. And I recognize that it would be a really great example for everybody to see here on this masterclass. Just so everybody knows, we have changed the name and contact information, any kind of personal identifiable information, just to make sure we remain anonymous with whoever this is and this person's resume, obviously for safety purposes here. But this is all fabricated information. We wanted to make sure that we were giving you a really great example of somebody who did submit a resume, and we have critiqued it and corrected it to the point where it looks extremely digestible now. So getting back to the mistakes that we usually see people make is number 1, the formatting. The formatting on this resume, now that it has been edited, I can not even tell you what it looked like to begin with, but the formatting on this resume now looks extremely easy to read, and it's very easy for the reader to digest. I can clearly see who the applicant is right at the top here with their contact information above. All of the fonts are consistent. All of them are proxied. Okay. All of them are consistent here. And they're also all the same size. So except for that name here at the top and some contact information, everything is size 10 font. The formatting does not serve as a distraction here. Everything is aligned with the margins, and there are clean bullet points within each of the work history points. And number 2 here is there are 3 to 4 clear bullet points on this resume that showcase in each job what experience is relevant to the reader with the intention to land this first position in tech. So as you can see here, we've got 3 bullet points and we've got 4 bullet points for the most recent job opportunity. While we are positive that you could write paragraphs on paragraphs upon paragraphs about your previous work experience, please only keep your resume to around 3 to 4 smart bullet points at maximum if you are just entering in the industry. Please keep your experiences to only 1 page, by the way, for your entire resume. Typically, all of these are in reverse chronological order. So as you can see, this one is the present position, and then these were before that. But we want to showcase only your most recent and also relevant experiences. If you're anything like me, having a job when you were 16 and on, you probably have pages and pages and pages worth of job experience, but please only put the most relevant experience here. So number 3 here is we need to make sure that our experience is relevant to our future role in tech. As you can see, this person filled in the resume. They have translated their experience into what might be relevant to a customer support role or customer service. Number 4, as I just mentioned, this person is targeting a customer support role or customer service role. We need to make sure that it is clear to the reader, regardless of the types of experiences that we've had in the past, of what role we want. Each role's bullet points should relate to the position that we ideally want right now. And then number 5, this is where we can showcase how well we accomplish our tasks in our previous role. Each working experience needs metrics or a way to measure your success compared to your colleagues or compared to KPIs. This person has nailed those so far. As you can see, there's a number there. There's a percentage there. There's a percentage here. This one does not have a percentage or a number, but it does have specific technologies that they were able to use. Even down here, number. They've done a great job so far. As I've mentioned previously, we have an entire module that will help you to refine your resume and tailor it to the role that you ideally would like to land in the future. This resume is the kickoff to your interview process, and you'll have to discuss your work experiences each and every time that you interview with a new company or a new person within that company. So the more in-depth the resume is, the easier it will be to interview live with your future employer. Speaking of interviewing, part of the reason we created Suited for Success is because we noticed that folks were falling short when they got to certain points in the interview process. They either didn't know what was coming or weren't able to prepare properly. That's why we prepare you for interviews by sharing what our hiring partners are going to be asking you in potential interviews, and that is pillar number 2 to our program. We want to enable you to ace your interviews with ease and prepare before you're live on the call so that these interviews are smooth, you maintain confidence, you maintain control, and are able to answer questions naturally after you've practiced. Pretty sure Benjamin Franklin might have said this quote first, but since I wasn't around in the mid-1700s to fact check that, we're going to go ahead and claim that our Queen Bee, Beyonce Knowles, said, if you are failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. And in good queen form, we are going to get you as prepared as possible so you're not hearing questions for the first time when you're actually live on the hot seat. All right, and then the last part of this masterclass, we'll share a couple tips on networking in tech. I'll start by saying this. Once you land your first role in tech, yes, once, not if, I mean once, because you will do it. You can do it if you put your head to it. Your network is going to be everything. Your career will no longer be dependent on one single company. Your destiny is in your own hands. Unlike our parents' generation, being job hoppy is a good thing, and it's extremely socially acceptable. In fact, the average amount of time that folks spend in tech at a single company is just less than 2 years. The reason I created Suited for Success is to help empower people to get their foot in the door to arguably the most lucrative industry that doesn't require a master's degree, and sometimes doesn't even require a higher education degree either. A lot of times these roles are not even going to require a secondary education degree in general, but I digress. I had a dream to teach my audience the skills that are necessary to land a role in tech and get your foot in the door, only to stick around in this industry for a very long long time in the future if you want it, of course. This program was created so that you can establish concrete skills that will serve you for a lifetime. Once you know how to interview, you've got your foot in the door, and you know how to network, the world will be your oyster. But if you don't have the network, you'll have a really hard time shifting to higher paying jobs in this industry. I will say this, that each time that I've shifted up or even gotten a promotion or even shifted externally, diagonally, either shifted outside of my current position or outside of my current company, I have landed roles that offered at least a $30,000 raise. Now imagine leveling up $30,000 each time you shift in the tech industry, meaning you get your foot in the door around a starting point of $85,000 a year with zero experience and then move up from there. A lot of times these shifts can happen even less than a year into your current role. I don't know about you, but that is life-changing money that we're talking about and life-changing access. The way that you shift so easily is, number one, learning how to market yourself and nail your interviews, of course. And number two is making sure that you are extending your network properly. The last 3 roles that I've gotten have been because I know how to network really damn well. I almost didn't even have to interview, but it was more so a part of the process that checks a box or ticks a little mark there to say, hey, we did actually interview this person and they are legit. Lucky for you, our program teaches every level of membership how to do both of those things effectively. In the self-paced course, which is our entry-level program, we teach you the ins and outs of using LinkedIn, how to sharpen your profile, and how to start networking on LinkedIn. You should be able to network not only internally within your company walls, but also network within the industry, setting yourself up for long-term roots within tech. This allows you the opportunity to get connected with other thought leaders, potential mentors, and people that may end up being your employer or colleague one day. Not to mention, just about every company in tech, or at least companies that you'd ideally want to work for, offer a referral bonus to their current employee base. So it's in everybody's best interest to make friends with potential future benefits. Some great places to look for folks to network with are at the companies that you're applying to, at different organizations like Women in Technology, Girls Who Code, Women in Sales, Out in Tech, Lesbians Who Tech, Afro Tech, Latina Professionals, and more. Where we start is by laying the groundwork and really refining the base layer of transforming your career, and that is in the mindset itself. We'll take your individual working experience and translate it directly into the tech industry in a career that will allow you to amplify those current skills. We'll dig into challenges that you've had in the past when it comes to landing a job. We'll get to know you as a person, of course, and understand what makes you tick, and also we'll learn what you want your ideal life to look like in comparison to what the tech industry has to offer. From there, we can create a path to that ideal dream life through your career trajectory. We'll go deep into helping you explore the opportunities that the tech industry has to offer. And when I say go deep, I mean we are seasoned veterans in the tech space. Our program will give you a few ideas of where to get your foot in the door, and will, of course, teach you how to pry your way in once you get some experience under your belt. The goal for this program is to teach you skills that you can use for a lifetime. The reason we focus so much on mentality and the mindset around breaking into the tech industry is because times have changed. You don't need a college degree to excel in this. You certainly don't need prior experience, and you definitely do not need to know how to code. You don't need to be technical. These common misconceptions are what have been keeping marginalized groups of humans out of the tech industry and out of the space since the industry started to boom in the late 90s with that .com bubble. We're here to break down these misconceptions, build your confidence, and infiltrate the market from the bottom up by way of numbers. And please hear me when I say this, but you can move up very, very, very quickly in tech. In just over 2 years after entering the tech space with absolutely zero experience, I was able to triple my income, move out to California, and had purchased 2 houses in that time frame as well. Needless to say, things can shift very quickly in life, but that move was by no means easy. After analyzing the tech space and enduring countless interviews, shifting around within the industry, and our team, our Suited for Success team, having experience working for several boot camps, we've officially cracked the code on what it takes to get into this industry, and we're handing over the key on a silver platter. Through building the Suited for Success program, we've found that you need all 3 of the pillars that I mentioned above to land your first role in tech and expand your career. Pillar number 1 being that you need to rebrand your current career experience. Pillar number 2 being that you'll need to prepare for what's going to be tossed at you during the interview process. Pillar number 3 being that you're going to need to network your heart out and have someone walk you in through the back door instead of waiting in that endless line that everyone else wants to wait in the front door. You also need to want this for you. You need to hustle your ass off and have the intrinsic motivation to change your entire life trajectory. And just in case you don't know what the market looks like, we're going to go ahead and pull up some standard benefits from one of our partner companies that I would deeply, deeply recommend working for. Let's go ahead and take a look at what it would be like to work at Gong, a call recording software. Just to give you some proof points, a sales development representative role. We are here on Gong's careers page, and Gong is a really great company to work for, but it's also too one of our partners. So we do get folks hired into this company as well as many other companies in the software space. But we are going to go ahead and take a scroll down. This is an entry-level position, by the way. So this is very applicable. I'm not sure if the Salt Lake City thing matters that much because this company typically works fully remote, but let's go ahead and scroll down to some responsibilities and the qualifications and of course, perks and benefits. I'm not seeing anything here that says that you absolutely need tech experience specifically. You possess a player mindset. You strive to grow and develop. I think most of you could do that who are watching this. Your work ethic is unmatched. If you are considering signing up for Suited for Success, I would really hope that your work ethic is unmatched. You're coachable and willing to receive feedback. These are the qualifications for this role, perks and benefits, and then our annual on-target earnings. On-target earnings means how much you anticipate to make. So that's a base plus a commission, a variable compensation. More than likely, this position would be around a $65,000 a year base salary. And Gong has been around long enough to where they offer a compensation package that you should ideally hit. Probably 85 to 90% of reps are going to hit this mark, and most of them are going to go over this mark, but they just need to put a standard there that says, hey, this is about how much you're supposed to earn in a year. So again, entry-level position, you could literally have zero experience whatsoever. You could have worked at the local Abercrombie and Fitch as a sales representative, and you could probably land this job more than likely. Let's jump right into the perks and benefits. Normally, companies offer medical, dental, vision plans to fit your family's needs. So it is for your entire family. If you have a family, if it's just you, just like me, it's all right. We're riding solo. Well-being fund. Most of you are like, what on earth is a well-being fund? A healthy lifestyle. So for example, a well-being fund, I've had this called a wellness fund as well, or something that's like a health flexibility spending account, something along those lines. It's usually around $100 to $200 per month for anything related to health and wellness. I've used it for therapy. I've used it for the chiropractor. I've used it for my snowboarding pass. I've used it to buy a snowboard. I've used it to buy a bicycle. I've used it for gym passes, gym memberships, massages, anything involving health and wellness. Okay, so they offer that to you. Mental health benefits, covered therapy and coaching. Wow. They want you to be mentally stable, okay? They're going to pay for your mental health benefits. Amazing. We love therapy. We want to go to therapy, but most of us can't afford it because it's expensive as hell. But they're going to go ahead and pay for it for you. 401k program to invest in your future. They might potentially match. Who knows? That could be part of your offer. Education and learning stipend for personal growth and development. I have gotten these many a times. I've gone to many a conferences for free because my company wants me to continue learning and continue developing as a human being. Flexible vacation time to promote a healthy work-life blend. What flexible vacation time means is unlimited PTO. They do not have an allowance for paid time off, but rather they expect you to use it sparingly or use it responsibly, I should say. You can go ahead and judge when you need to take time off. Obviously, you don't want to take too much time off in your first year with a company. You want to be seen as trustworthy, but at the same time, being able to have that flexibility of saying, all right, actually, I would like to go home for the holidays. Go home for the holidays. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy a real holiday season if you need to. Paid parental leave to support you and your family. Notice how this says parental leave, not maternity leave. Okay. Some of you folks are non-child-bearing people. You would not be carrying the child. So you're also going to get some leave here. You should be able to get a very, very healthy amount of paid parental leave to support your family, like it says. Okay, I can't speak to Gong's specific privileges and work allowances when it comes to parental leave, but you will get time off regardless a child or if you're not carrying a child. Company-wide recharge days each quarter. For example, my current company, I don't work for Gong. My current company had a couple wellness days already since I've been there. And, when you are working at a company and you're onboarding, you're drinking from the fire hose, it's really difficult. But then all of a sudden you have a random Friday that's off and they say, hey, it's a wellness day, just take off. Don't work today. Like, what? What does that even mean? Work from home stipend to help you succeed in a remote environment. Again, remote environment. This company is a remote first workforce. So they want to empower you to set yourself up for success. You might have to come in for this specific position maybe 2 days of the week. But for the other days of the week, they're going to give you a laptop. They give you a standing desk if you want one. They're going to give you a keyboard, a mouse, headset, monitors. I'm trying to think of other things. The actual desk itself, your chair, your office chair, an ergonomic keyboard. If you don't want to hurt your hands or your back or what have you while working, they're going to give you everything that you need to get set up for success. And they're going to pay for it or reimburse you for it. Those benefits aside, I've worked at countless companies in tech that have additional benefits like breakfast, lunch, and dinner free in the office. If you go into the office each day, of course. They have unlimited amounts of snacks in the office. And I'm not talking about just regular old snacks like your standard Cliff Bar that somebody tosses your way because you won a prize or you've been on good behavior for long enough. I'm talking about the best snacks. I'm talking about those Baby Bell cheeses. I'm talking about Skinny Pop. I'm talking about cups of ramen if you want them. I'm trying to think back to my time at Dropbox. We had the most incredible snacks. Pocky sticks. I don't know how to say it. Doesn't matter. I'll eat the hell out of them. I've worked in offices that are dog friendly. Got to bring my guy Kaiser in when he was still around into the office with me. We worked the full day together. It was amazing. I've had a full service gym on site or reimbursement for gym expenses. We've had paid volunteer days off, unlimited vacation days off, networking, career development, sponsored events and opportunities, and so much more. Obviously, these benefits complementing your base salary or your on-target earnings are untouchable. I don't know any other industry that offers such a lucrative path, and not just by way of money and cash in hand, but by opportunity, by allowing you to have that flexible lifestyle that you've been dreaming of. And these benefits are standard in the right companies in tech, the ones that we partner with, if, of course, you know how to get your foot in the door. So I want to close out by sharing a bit about the Suited for Success program. Myself and our head of learning and development have come together to create an action-packed, self-paced course for you. It covers everything from the start of translating your current career experience into tech, the resume restructuring and workshopping, interview preparation, amplifying your opportunity to land new roles in the tech industry through networking, and everything in between. This is the ultimate guide to landing your first job in the tech industry, regardless of your prior experience. The program is about 8 weeks long, but if you're ambitious, you certainly can complete it in a much shorter amount of time. These roles are there for you to take. You just need the proper system and a plan of action to keep you focused on the end goal. We've got tons of resources for you, but the self-paced course is going to be the best place to start. All candidates start here so they can get an idea for the program and do some of the self-paced coursework before diving into programming that is a bit more hands-on from my end. We've got group coaching available if you need additional assistance as well. It offers a job tracker instead of having to use some weird spreadsheet. It also too guarantees me to actually pop some jobs into your job tracker as well and recommend some jobs for you. And then also too, we allow for you to have access to our Slack community and of course our weekly sessions that are topical or they are focused on a specific topic and training. And of course, we've got our premium one-to-one coaching as well, which is our most customizable option. This is a plan that is tailored directly to you. But of course, you have to start with that individual self-paced course first, just so you can see if you even like our coaching style or the way that we teach. Since we wanted to make this accessible to a good majority of folks from a pricing perspective, and we also recognize that there are folks who may need more or less coaching, we wanted to offer a starting point that could help gauge how much guidance is necessary. So closing things out, I'm extremely excited to have you join in on the program and very, very, very excited to watch you soar in your new tech career.